Good afternoon, everyone. It is a real pleasure to be here. Amazing leaders in the field that I certainly care most about. And thank you so much to the Siegel Family Foundation. You are having a huge impact on the lives of so many. And listening to Barry and Martin and Andy's remarks this morning, I suddenly felt like it's okay to be a grassroots organization, which is not the way I usually feel, and is often, when we were talking about perseverance, not typically the perception of donors. So what you were doing is very bold and having faith in us, and again, you were having a very significant impact, so thank you, really. So I'm Emma, I'm with Gardens for Health, and we take, I'm having some trouble with this. Can you hear me if I just pop up this? No. This seems to be coming in and out a little bit. Gardens for Health takes a humanistic approach to hunger. People are people, food is food, and we do this through agriculture, as our name would imply. 80% of the world's hungry live in rural areas. This is Rwanda. It may look familiar to many in the room. As you can see, you have very densely populated terrain where people are terracing all the way up hills. Rwanda is indeed sub-Saharan Africa's most densely populated country. Nevertheless, 85% of the population relies on agriculture, with less than 50% of those making marketable surplus. So that means that they are subsistence agricultures in the truest, subsistence farmers in the truest sense, where they are eating what they grow. This doesn't really work out for a lot of people, as 45% of children under the age of 5 are severely, or moderately to severely malnourished, which is typically a good indicator of how well this system is serving people. So Gardens for Health, we work with people who we think face the largest risk for chronic malnutrition. And actually, so we're talking, go back, talking a bit about values in this last panel. Values are very important to us. As I said, we take a humanistic approach to hunger. We really want to put people at the forefront. So our values are partnership, whereby our members are our partners, not the beneficiaries of our charitable work. Empathy, environmental sustainability, which is something that's also a bit tricky in this field. Right to health, which certainly resonates with many, and right to food. And the right to food, I'm having trouble not putting the slide up these days when I present. This is a UN definition. The last bit is the most important to us. The right to food is not about charity, but about ensuring that all people have the capacity to feed themselves and their families. We add in dignity, and dignity is another theme that has come up throughout the day. So we make agricultural investments in those who are most vulnerable to malnutrition. Initially, that meant people who are infected and affected by HIV/AIDS. Biologically, the HIV and malnutrition create a very vicious cycle that suppresses one's immunity. And then you can imagine, too, that for many who are infected, there's a loss of labor productivity. If you're relying on your land as your primary means for food, that will cause a direct loss in food supply, which will make life very difficult for you and your family. So that was our original founding premise, was that we wanted to support people who really lived on the margins but who did rely on agriculture to move away from subsistence level to having that marketable surplus and to being able to support themselves and their families through agriculture. So we provide a loan product to cooperatives of people living with HIV/AIDS. Actually, sometimes they are support groups that come to us. We help them become small business cooperatives, do the small business skills training up front, and then provide an 18-month in-kind loan for many groups. Rwanda actually recently recognized, very recently, a white paper came out for a guarantee fund for people living with HIV/AIDS because it is very hard to get access to credit and land if you self-identify as positive. So our loan product includes a cash crop to move away from subsistence level, a food crop because people are going to eat what they grow, and we really want to emphasize the nutritional component of this. Irrigation and water catchment, because that's a big part of moving away from subsistence, having enough water, non-chemical fertilizer, small animal livestock. There is no replacement for animal protein. Having studied nutrition a lot, now I can say that. And other infrastructure and tools, and labor as well, because people do face limited labor capacities. The labor part is important. We did not enter, I'll be honest, we did not see ourselves becoming lenders. So I would love to talk to some of the MFI people in the room because lending to this group in particular, we met with many, many microfinance groups, traditional lenders, and could not get terms that really met our needs. So this is a bit of our investment with cooperatives. We say that our dividends are nutritional and economic. Again, these are loans people are paying us back. These are some of the nutritional dividends that members of cooperatives take home. This is an example of one cooperative where Gardens for Health, it's a bit misleading, it's small-scale farms, really, or large-scale gardens. This is 2 to 3, I think it's 2.5 hectares. And you have a group that did 2 tilapia farms with rabbit hutches over the fish ponds. You have almost a hectare of maize. You have a fruit tree nursery. And this is with an 18-month loan of $2,300. At the behest of the Rwandan government, we have taken our technical expertise into the clinical level to health centers. Our agricultural agents, who are staffed with cooperatives, are now staffed at local health centers, providing a similar program where they are providing services to families with children under the age of 5 who have been clinically diagnosed with severe or moderate malnutrition. So these children are receiving food aid at the health center, but as we know, food aid is only a short-term solution. It is at best a 6-month solution in Rwanda, and oftentimes, or at least the families that we work with, have had treatment default, where once they go back into the conditions that created malnutrition in the first place, they lose all the weight they gained when they were receiving food aid. So our agricultural agents go to people's homes, look at what's happening in terms of agriculture, if they are mostly subsistence farmers, and help them kind of reimagine what their food security situation could be. It's an intensive process. Agriculture is always referred to as the longer route in combating malnutrition, and it is. We also believe it's the necessary route. It is unavoidable. So our agricultural agents, this is not alone. This is help set up home gardens for individuals and work with them around their food security needs. It's a new program. We're serving before a shot. We have banana groves, and afterwards we have amaranth, sweet potatoes, carrots, and these greens. Rwanda, we're fortunate, very fertile climate. We're seeing incredible results with this program, and we only have about 120 families enrolled. And I only have our first quarterly report data, but after just 3 months, 45% of families had improved their household food security by an average of 3 scores. 68% of families had improved their dietary diversity, and 75% of those improvements were due to whole household food production. Study after study has said that if you increase household food production, you increase household food security. Again, it takes a long time, though. And underlying all of this is an emphasis on education, on building communities, building skills together, whether it's our cooperative program or our household program through the health centers. We spend a lot on education and helping communities realize their own self-sufficiency goals and engaging with them around those. So that is us, that is Gardens for Health. I would love to speak to anyone out there, especially around the microfinance piece, and it is a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much.